Today, we will see how Infor Configure Price Quote addresses tough customer challenges with a complete solution, driving real value by increasing sales, reducing costs, and differentiating your brand. In the following scenario, Capital Manufacturing is a manufacturer of semi-truck trailers. CM Dealerships is a dealer for Capital Manufacturing, and Landscape Trucking is a customer for CM Dealerships. In this scenario, we will see how CM Dealerships is using Infor Configure Price Quote to manage their sales process. First, CM Dealerships will respond to a request for quote from Landscape Trucking, generating a 100% complete and accurate quote and proposal. Next, CM Dealerships will respond to a change request from Landscape Trucking, generating a competitive pricing proposal to win the business. And then, CM Dealerships will convert the revised quote to Landscape Trucking into an order for Capital Manufacturing. After the order has been placed, we will see how Capital Manufacturing responds to a change request and a special request from CM Dealerships, generating an updated price, bill of materials, routing instructions, and manufacturing drawings. And finally, we will see how Capital Manufacturing provides updated order status information to CM Dealerships. Let's get started by taking a closer look at how CM Dealerships uses Infor Configure Price Quote to respond to a request for quote from Landscape Trucking. Capital Manufacturing provides Infor Configure Price Quote to all of its dealerships for quoting, proposing, and ordering Capital Manufacturing products. Nick is a sales representative for CM Dealerships. He is using Infor Configure Price Quote, provided by Capital Manufacturing, to respond to a request for quote from his customer, Landscape Trucking. Notice how Capital Manufacturing has updated the Infor Configure Price Quote solution with their logo and terminology to promote brand awareness and differentiation in the marketplace. Nick begins the quoting process by creating a new quote. He selects Landscape Trucking from the list of his customers and provides a quote name for future reference. The request for quote calls for a quantity of 20 custom-built semi-truck trailers, so Nick selects the semi-trailer from the list of items. He updates the quantity to 20 and begins the configuration process to select trailer options based on the Landscape Trucking request for quote. As Nick selects Capital Manufacturing trailer options, the list of available options is automatically filtered to only display valid option combinations based on his previous selections. This prevents Nick from making a mistake and guarantees a 100% correct trailer configuration which can be priced and manufactured by Capital Manufacturing. During the configuration process, Nick references a dynamically generated as-configured drawing of the trailer based on his selected options. This provides Nick a quick visual validation of the overall trailer configuration where he can easily identify any issues with the selected options and make the necessary corrections. While reviewing the drawing, Nick identifies the kingpin offset and the number of axles does not match the required specifications in the request for quote. Nick updates these selections and is alerted to a previous option selection that is no longer valid with the current option selection for the triple axle. This message provides Nick with the information he needs to make valid selections and to feel confident he is getting the configuration right the first time. Nick continues the configuration process, making option selections based on the specifications in the request for quote. Nick selects the 12-inch post spacing option and is provided additional information which may influence how he chooses to proceed. Capital Manufacturing has provided this message to inform their dealers of a more environmentally friendly choice, providing for better fuel economy. Capital Manufacturing is also guiding the dealer to select the 16 or 24-inch post spacing because these options reduce labor and material costs during the manufacturing process. Nick double-checks the specifications on the request for quote to see if the 16 or 24-inch option is acceptable. The request for quote only specifies a range of 12 to 18 inches, so Nick decides to select the 16-inch post spacing option. Nick is able to more quickly and confidently make valid option selections during the configuration process since the trailer options are displayed using images instead of only text. This makes the identification of product options and the configuration process easier to learn and more accurate since he can visually validate option selections instead of assuming the meaning based only on reading the option names. Nick has found his trailer configurations have taken less time and have become much more accurate as Capital Manufacturing has moved to a more visual configuration process. This has resulted in Nick spending more time upselling and cross-selling trailer options instead of resolving configuration issues. As Nick continues the configuration process, he notices a new air ride suspension option. Since he's not familiar with this option, Nick reviews the additional information provided by Capital Manufacturing to help him make the best option selection. At this point, the configuration process is complete. Before Nick continues the quoting process, he'll take a minute to review some of the details of the trailer configuration. Capital Manufacturing has provided Nick the ability to view the price buildup and specifications based on the selected options and calculations during the configuration process. As a final check, Nick reviews a summary of the selected options to quickly confirm his selection in comparison to the specifications in the request for quote. During this review, Nick notices the selected door type does not match the required specifications in the request for quote. Nick selects the option to match the required specifications. As he makes the correct door selection, the trailer configuration is revalidated with updates to pricing and specifications. With the trailer configuration complete, Nick continues the quoting process. The configured trailer has been added to the quote with a summary view of the key option selections, specifications, price, and drawing generated during the configuration process. The request for quote from Landscape Trucking also calls for a quantity of 5 standard configurations of a Capital Manufacturing trailer. Nick quickly adds these to the quote by simply selecting a few of the key options per the specifications on the request for quote. Nick's selected options are validated according to Capital Manufacturing's complete product definition to ensure option compatibility and to calculate the as-configured price and generate the as-configured drawing. Landscape Trucking has also called for underbody toolboxes on their request for quote. Nick quickly finds this part and adds it to the quote. Nick has now satisfied all the product requirements on the Landscape Trucking request for quote. Next, he does a quick review of the default pricing factors prior to generating the proposal package. He confirms the standard discount from Capital Manufacturing to CM dealerships, and the standard markup and discount from CM dealerships to Landscape Trucking. Nick is now ready to generate the proposal package. He has several options which allow him to tailor the proposal to the individual needs of any opportunity. Nick decides to include all selections in the proposal package since this is the initial response to Landscape Trucking's request for quote. He also decides to use the manufacturer's suggested retail price as a baseline price for future negotiations, if necessary. Infor Configure Price Quote automatically generates compelling and tailored proposal packages. Nick's proposal for Landscape Trucking has been personalized with the CM dealership's logo, the name of the Landscape Trucking procurement manager, and a cover letter describing the value CM dealerships and Capital Manufacturing is providing to their customer. The trailer configurations are included with the selected options, price, and drawings. The underbody toolbox is consistent with the request for quote and includes the product image. Pricing reflects the manufacturer's suggested retail price. The CAD drawings and model generated during the configuration process accurately represent the selected trailer configurations, and the specification sheet, pre-delivery inspection forms, warranty information, and terms and conditions have all been updated with the information provided by Nick during the quoting process. We have just seen how CM Dealerships uses Infor Configure Price Quote, provided by Capital Manufacturing, to respond to a request for quote from Landscape Trucking. With Infor Configure Price Quote, Capital Manufacturing's dealers generate more, complete, and accurate quotes in a matter of minutes, easily configuring their complex product line, providing their customers with more product options, and faster new product introductions. Landscape Trucking values Capital Manufacturing's ability to meet all their unique trailer specifications, and the quick proposal turnaround, combined with the completeness and professionalism of the proposal package provided by CM Dealerships. We will now see how Capital Manufacturing is creating even more customer loyalty by providing a superior buying experience. With Infor Configure Price Quote, Nick responds to the change request from Landscape Trucking and places the order with Capital Manufacturing. First, Nick finds the quote to begin processing the change request. He filters the list of quotes by customer name and selects the quote to Landscape Trucking for the replacement fleet. Nick quickly reviews the details for each trailer on the quote and increments the version of the quote prior to making the requested changes. Creating a version of the quote allows Nick to keep a record of the original quote specifications while quickly processing the change request. Landscape Trucking has requested a specification change to the trailer length and number of axles. The specifications now call for all trailers on the request for quote to be 48 feet in length with a dual axle. Previously, this type of change request would take several hours to process and would include pricing errors. Now, with Infor Configure Price Quote, Nick can easily update the specifications for each line and has the ability to update all lines at the same time with immediate validation of the changes. This ensures the updated specifications are compatible with the previously selected options and the trailer configuration is priced correctly. Nick does a quick review of the lines, noting the updated price and drawing per the change request. Before Nick generates the proposal with the requested changes, he takes a minute to review the quote pricing since the Landscape Trucking Procurement Manager notified him this would be a competitive bid. Nick quickly confirms the standard discount and markup has been applied to the quote and then reviews the line pricing to make the necessary adjustments to the selling price. Line 1 is for a custom trailer configuration, so Nick decides to only offer a minimal discount, knowing this trailer configuration will be difficult to match at other dealerships. Line 2 is for a more common trailer configuration, which can be much more easily matched by other dealerships, so Nick decides to provide a more competitive discount for this trailer. Nick then decides to use the replacement parts as an incentive on the revised proposal, providing these at no cost to Landscape Trucking. Nick is now able to review the pricing with discounts for each of the lines as well as the total quote price and confirms he is still under a 7% discount for the entire quote. Now, Nick is ready to generate the revised proposal package. He includes each selection of the proposal as he did in the original, but changes the displayed price to only show the total discount for the entire quote. Nick will now email the revised proposal with discounted pricing to the Landscape Trucking Procurement Manager. After reviewing the revised proposal, Landscape Trucking has awarded their business for a new fleet of semi-truck trailers to CM dealerships. Nick quickly finds the quote to convert it into an order for Capital Manufacturing. As he places the order, Nick updates the shipping location to the Midwest Distribution Center. He reviews the ordering terms and also provides the CM dealership's purchase order number for future reference. Nick has full confidence his order for Capital Manufacturing trailers will be 100% complete and accurate since he is using Infor Configure Price Quote to quote and place the order. Now, with the order placed, Nick moves on to quoting new opportunities. We've now seen how Capital Manufacturing leverages Infor Configure Price Quote to enable CM dealerships, and in fact, all of their dealers, to quote, propose, and order Capital Manufacturing products. Capital Manufacturing has become easier to do business with by providing fast, easy-to-use tools to their dealers, improving their win rates with accurate, complete, and personalized proposals. Let us now look at how Capital Manufacturing responds to a change request and a special request from CM dealerships, generating an updated price, bill of materials, routing instructions, and manufacturing drawing. Infor Configure Price Quote automatically generated a sales order and a manufacturing order for Capital Manufacturing in their Enterprise Resource Planning system. Bill is a customer service representative for Capital Manufacturing. He is using the Capital Manufacturing Enterprise Resource Planning system to review new sales orders for the day. Bill sees the new order placed by CM dealerships using Infor Configure Price Quote. Because the systems work together to automate non-value-added activities and reduce duplicate efforts, Bill now has more time to build stronger customer relationships, resulting in more customer loyalty and increased sales. Bill sees the new manufacturing order created for the sales order from CM dealerships. It has the complete bill of materials and routing instructions. It includes the order notes from the configuration process, and it includes the manufacturing drawings specific to the trailer configuration. While reviewing the order, Bill receives an email from Nick at CM dealerships requesting a change. Nick needs the trailer specifications on line 1 updated to a kingpin offset of 42 inches. Nick also has a special request to increase the crossmember spacing from 12 inches to 20 inches based on a late-stage specification request from Landscape Trucking. Bill is able to quickly and easily accommodate the change request since he can view and edit the complete trailer specification as entered by Nick during the quoting process. He easily updates the kingpin offset to 42 inches and reviews the custom crossmember options, which are only available upon special request. Previously, special requests had to be submitted through a manual engineering review process, taking several days for engineering to process and approve. Now, Bill is able to quickly and accurately process Nick's special request for the 20-inch crossmember spacing while adhering to Capital Manufacturing engineering guidelines, since all the engineering and manufacturing requirements are built into the configuration process. The manufacturing order has been updated with the as-configured bill of materials and routing instructions according to Nick's requested changes. And the manufacturing drawing has been updated to show the 42-inch kingpin offset. We have just seen how Capital Manufacturing automates the sales and manufacturing process, generates complete and accurate sales and manufacturing orders, easily processes change requests, and quickly processes special requests with Infor Configure Price Quote. Let us end our scenario by looking at how CM Dealerships uses Infor Configure Price Quote to review the status of their orders. Nick is planning for the delivery of trailers from Capital Manufacturing and needs to confirm the delivery date. Rather than calling Bill, the Capital Manufacturing customer service representative, for this information, it is quicker and easier to simply use Infor Configure Price Quote. Nick has access to view order, invoice, and shipment status information all in one location. He easily finds the sales order based on the purchase order number he entered when placing the order. Here, he is able to quickly view the overall order status and line status information so he can coordinate the necessary activities to accept shipment of the new trailers and in turn deliver them to his customer. We have just seen how Infor Configure Price Quote addresses tough customer challenges with a complete solution, driving real value by increasing sales, reducing costs, and differentiating your brand. In the scenario we just watched, Capital Manufacturing was a manufacturer of semi-truck trailers, CM Dealerships was a dealer for Capital Manufacturing, and Landscape Trucking was a customer for CM Dealerships. We saw how CM Dealerships used Infor Configure Price Quote to respond to a request for quote from Landscape Trucking. We saw how CM Dealerships responded to change request from Landscape Trucking, and we saw how CM Dealerships converted their quote to Landscape Trucking into an order for Capital Manufacturing. We also saw how Capital Manufacturing responded to a change request and a special request from CM Dealerships, generating an updated price, bill of materials, routing instructions, and manufacturing drawing. And finally, we saw how Capital Manufacturing provided order status information to CM Dealerships. Now see how Infor Configure Price Quote will drive real value for you by increasing your sales, reducing your costs, and differentiating your brand. As a next step, schedule some time to meet our people, see a detailed demonstration, and talk with our customers.